I'm putting a new processor in this computer. This is the one I custom built about a year ago. If you can take a look at the sockets here, this here is where the processor is supposed to go. I had one in here, an 8-core processor, but when I went to pull the fan off it, it pulled the processor out of here. This little lever, here it is, this little lever is supposed to lock the processor down. And the processor got pulled out of here without unlocking it, bent those gold pins. Now here's what the new one looks like. Nearly identical to the old one. There we go. You see those little dark spots? Those are holes in the gold pins. If I turn this off to the side a little bit, there we go. Now you can see the pins at this angle. About 100 of those pins on this thing. Gold, very soft metal, but conducts electricity. Now if I line these holes up with these little things you see here, it should lock down. And that's what I'm going to do now. It's better not to touch these sparkling gold pins here, because even though gold doesn't corrode or rust, it can still get damaged. And I can put static into these things. Okay, now it's in there. A flashlight here to kind of hold this. A lot of cables in here. Before I close it up, I've got to make sure that I have all the cable back in place. This thing tends to come loose. When it does, that can cause problems. This goes to the front. Got a room here to add things on. This is the graphics card. They put a graphics card on here because this motherboard did not come with its own. I don't know what some of these things are. Now this little lever here, I'm going to push this down. If you look carefully, you might be able to see this thing shifting. But it does shift. Now it's locked down. This should not come up. Now, these do come, that's a power supply. This is the cooling fan, okay? Top of the fan, there's a power clip. There's a little bit of goo on there, and that's supposed to help it make contact with this. Now this does lock it down here, and unfortunately I'm here by myself. I don't have 3 hands. This wire here goes into a little spot there. If I do this correctly, I want to make sure there's nothing on here. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to turn it to this side, pull that wire out of the way. If I do this correctly, it should latch on. If I get that in there, try to see what I'm doing and show you what I'm doing at the same time. It's so tricky to pull off. Okay, the side's down. I scoop. And over here on the other side, get that down in there. I'm right-handed. Camera actually does give me a little bit of light. I can't see what I'm doing here. At any rate, I'm going to have to pause this because I can't lock this down while record at the same time. Okay. Zoom in a little bit. Guess that's as far as it's going to go. I've got this side over here. There's a lever. You'll see, put my hand on. Now, if I pull this back, it'll lock this down. You may have heard that click. This isn't coming off. Now I take this here, plug it into this, make sure this lines up with the slot here. 4 pins, and that provides power supply to the cooling fan. Make sure everything's in place here. These are SATA cables. They provide information from motherboard, processor, etc. going into here. They kind of talk to each other. This is the DVD drive. This is the hard drive. And I forget where that third one goes. At any rate, everything's in here now. It's locked down. This goes to one of the cooling fans. I'm going to put the case back on. And that's basically it. There's really not a whole lot. You line up the processor correctly, lock it down, put the cooling fan on top of it, lock it down, put any loose wires back together, put the cover on it, and that's it.